What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Canes game review, game 12 of the season. 3-1 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of all teams, no, I'm kidding. Leafs are good. They're a good team. They are. Let's not mince words here. They've been good for quite a long time at this point. However, in this game, the things that I've been talking about that are worrisome for the Carolina Hurricanes, they all came to fruition in this game, and it's the exact reason they lost. So look, Toronto's coming off they're on the second half of a back-to-back in this game. They've played less than 24 hours before their previous game, in which they hung on to a win against the Boston Bruins with their backup Eric Källgren, who was very good in this game. But this is a tired hockey team coming in to play you on 2 days of rest. And at home. You were at home against Buffalo. You didn't travel anywhere for 2 days. There's zero reason really not to win this game. But Carolina did the same thing they've done almost any game with rest this season. It's been one of two things. I'll give you the back-to-back as well. If they play 2 games, they play that first game the first night, amazing first period, absolute nothing in the second period, and somehow they kind of squeeze it out in the third. If they're on a back-to-back, it is terrible first period, amazing second period, hold on for dear life in the third. And this was the former of those two scenarios. Amazing first, got an early goal, got a lead on Toronto. Second period, terrible. Just Toronto adjusts to your game, and they don't make any adjustments from there on out. A late backbreaking tying goal, which is fine if you're going to go into the third and actually keep up the momentum and kind of play the way you usually do. But they didn't. And the second period just leaked into the third period, and they just weren't good. Now, some credit does have to go to Toronto in this game because they were good. Their big players are beginning to show up for their team, which is huge, and that's really how Toronto lives and dies with this team. So I hazard to really blame anything here. The only thing I will say is, again, as mentioned earlier, you're coming off a day of rest. You're at home. You haven't had to do travel. Toronto had to take a late flight from Toronto into Raleigh. Less than 24 hours between games. Playing a backup goaltender. Not even a backup. Sorry. This is their 4th string goaltender. Murray Samsonov Källgren. I guess he's their 3rd string. I kind of thought we played Keith Petruzzelli in this one. Again, this is a test game, and they failed this test. And there was, on the TSN broadcast of this game, Gord Miller and Mike Johnson, who were excellent. Gord Miller's probably the best play-by-play. Him and Chris Cuthbert are honestly like two of the best in this sport. And Mike Johnson talked about speaking with Rod Brendamore earlier in that day and talking to him about the team, and he highlighted that there is still a long way to go for this Canes group. And that is absolutely true. They really need to figure this out. And again, it's early in the season. We're only 12 games in. There are 70 left. And honestly, does it really matter? I think they're 8-2-1, 8-3-1 now, I should say. Does it really matter as long as they get it figured out by playoffs? No, it really doesn't. And we can't just you can't get hung up on a regular season loss. It's, as I mentioned in other videos this season, it's not that you lose, it's how you lose. And in this game, I think this is an okay loss. It's just concerning. Things roll downhill for this team a lot of the time, and that's kind of how this one felt. It felt like it was just rolling downhill, and we saw it in the playoffs last year. In that Rangers series, man, the warning signs were all over the place for that team in that Rangers series, and it bit them. So is it the end of the world? No. But these issues are glaring, and now you can see them. You can see the first period's great, the second period is a complete let off of the gas pedal, and the third period is usually where they recover a bit and manage to win the game, just almost based on skill alone. But when you're going to get up against these teams that are high-powered offensive systems, and whether or not they can be considered good defensive teams, this is where you're going to run into these problems. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to highlight really any goal or any particular play in this one. Again, I don't even think Freddie had a bad game. I think people are starting to get a little bit concerned about Freddie, and that's fair. But I don't think he was particularly bad. He pretty much just had no help from the second period on in this game. And it's a tough pill to swallow in the loss for this team right now. It's very evident that 12 games in, they can be a lot better. And I'm sure they'll get there. And man, there's a guy who is coming back from injury in the next few months here that is I think, really going to change the way this team plays offensively and probably make them a lot more lethal in Max Pacioretty. But before then, we got to get this defense figured out. We got to get this goaltending figured out for sure. And I think the goaltending will more or less fix itself when the defense fixes itself. I think they've been the best defenseman on the team hasn't been very good. And I think we should probably start highlighting that Jacob Slavin looks really off so far this season. Still has been good, just has not been what we expect from Jacob. So anyways, that will do it for this one. Play next on Wednesday, a big break. That's good, always good, and a back-to-back. So on the road in Florida, I believe Matthew Tkachuk is suspended. This will be his second game of his suspension for his high stick on Kings goaltender Jonathan Quick. But that will be a big answer game. I mean, you got to go play the Edmonton Oilers. Wait, is that the back-to-back? Oh, I guess it's at home. It's fine. Anyways, I was going to say, geez, that's a terrible back-to-back. But nevertheless, anyway, a couple really big test games coming up for Carolina here. I would expect Freddie gets the start in Florida and then Ronta back home against the Oilers. But nothing is, of course, set in stone just yet. So 2 big games to be keeping an eye out for these next 2. Given it's a back-to-back, I will probably say... Yeah, we will definitely. I think we'll do a night of video on Wednesday there for that game, and then hopefully another night of one on Thursday as well. So hopefully get this rolling back for night ofs. But that will wrap it for this one. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and leave a comment. Whether you're a Leafs fan, whether you're a Canes fan, whatever, does not matter. What did you think about this game? And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.